Moving on to the S&P, and what we've had is a bit of a reversal and a bit of potential trend. The S&P doesn't really seem too sure what it wants to do at the moment. We're trapped very much between sort of 32.90 and 32.30 approximately. So just this little zone here. Every time we come down, we seem to run out of energy, and then you get this sort of quick move back up. Same at the top, quick move back down, and at the bottom. So a market that really doesn't know what it wants to do, lacking in confidence, lacking in conviction, likely a lot of shorter-term participants trading at the moment. What we have started the day off with, though, is on the back of Friday's pretty strong sell-off, is we started off potentially looking a little bit trendy, and I'll show you this in just a moment. Value building higher. Market sort of goes through little stages of consolidation and pushes on. Right the way up to ISM, there's your ISM, which then kicks us on up to the level at 32.63.5 up to 66. And we've managed to stick there and pull back. Really key zone now is these 32.55. If we can hold above there, we've now got scope at least to build a P-shaped day and just trade value out up there and be an indication that these shorts down here got trapped, or continue this trending type move and continue onwards through 66s and back up towards the mid-90s. So that's the question we've got to ask ourselves. To start off with, we did look quite trend-like. I'll show you this just in a moment. Started off, push up, and I'll show you on a sped up ladder, just so that you can see that sort of quick rotation then move, quick rotation then move. Very typical of a trend type move. So possible trend is on, and we've established that relatively quickly. Question is now what happens at 55 to tell us whether this is going to continue to trend or whether this is going to be more of a sort of rotational pullback type phase. So I'll take you on to that. This is what I'm talking about. So there's the open, you get a little test down, and then we move straight up into this little box here. I'll bring a ladder up for you and you'll be able to see what I mean. So I've got this on 4 times speed. This is the S&P. We're trading around 39. And we're just coming up to the open. So you'll see the pace really pick up. There we go, there's the open, pace is starting to pick up. We have a little jerk down and then straight up towards the mid-40s. First pullback comes to 41.5. Now when you're following a move like this, very quick, yes, this is on quadruple speed, but what you're looking for, particularly when you get a trending type move, is you will see these little washbacks. And it's more about, rather than specific prices, just establishing where the little range currently is. So you can see now that we're getting a little bit of, we've pulled back to 41, we're now trading up to 43s and holding. 43, 43.5 and managing to hold. So what you could be looking to do then is to buy down at 41s. We're not yet, this is very, very early on to decide that yes, we're on a trend type move. But we can see that it's absorbing down at 41. Anything that drops down there holds. Now we're up to 43.5, and this time it's not backing off from 43.5. 43 is about as low as we're getting, so this is your chance to add on. Quick push up leaves those orders behind. If this is to be trend-like, what we're going to expect to see now is a further then new area established, and so we're now up into little box 2, which we spend some time in this area. Now the first move up, we have seen a little pullback towards 45.5 at the moment. So we're now starting to build a picture of where the next levels are. And with a move like this, what you're concentrating on is where do we pull back to? So that you get an understanding of this little area that we're trading within. If you're trying to get onto a trend type move, what you want to be looking for is that little pullback. With any trend, what will typically happen is you will get phases of absorption, then expansion, absorption, then expansion. We've seen it once already. So what we're trying to work out now is where this absorption is happening, where we're pulling back to. We've seen 45.5 and we're now trading up towards 48.5. So from here, we're now looking 48.5. Where do we pull back to? Where does this market start to hold around? So we still got a bid down at 45.5. We're actually struggling. Every time it trades 47.25, you're getting a little bit of support coming in there. You see again, trades down to 47.5, bids come back. So we're now seeing that perhaps actually the buyer's coming in from slightly higher and we're getting trapped in a very tight range between 48.5 and 47.5. We can see very clearly that the top of this move is 48.5. So that's the point then when we're going to get the acceleration. The hard thing with a trend type move is that the timing of the break is the difficult bit, which is why often you perhaps are going to be better suited to actually try and get in at the bottom of this little consolidation, 47.25, and try and hold from there. Because trying to time the buy-in at the top, you're going to end up long at 48.5, watching it constantly go offside and back, offside and back. In your head, that creates a harder trade because all you're seeing is your trade going offside, 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 and that starts to impact on your conviction. Once we get through 48.5, now you start seeing the bid building up above 48.5, no trade back here. There's your indication that we can keep on going higher. So it is possible to time that move up, but it's that little bit trickier. Once again, next surge up, this one then takes you up towards 53s. Now I know where that's going already, so that's why I put the offers there. Then same process again, do we see any pullback? What we then get from here is then a more steady grind higher, which perhaps takes away a little bit the opportunity to continue to buy from here, because the fact you don't get this rotation back to the same area. It's constantly back to a slightly higher price, which takes away a little bit of opportunity. But by this point, you will hopefully have already established a position from 41.5s, from 47.5s that you can then carry. And as long as it's not then rotating back through each little pullback, you can stay in this move. Whether you hold all the way into ISM is up to you from this point. So just wanted to give you a bit of a sense of buying pressure, so how that buying builds up, how the market then holds on to areas, and it was all about that little, each time it pulled back it's stuck and stuck and stuck at the same point, and then eventually that pressure releases as buyers realise they can't buy lower and they're going to have to keep now, or they're going to have to start paying higher and higher prices. Right, in terms of oil,